Good morning, internets. It is Monday morning, and I am on my way to my Vegas magazine. If I could ever get to the freeway, hopefully I won't be late, because I don't do late. We're going to do our Monday morning meeting, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about a couple of things over the weekend. I'm still decompressing from Barrett Jackson and all the incredible things that I saw. Please go see Car Stuff with Katherine to see all that good stuff. There were very, very few electric vehicles there. In fact, the only EVs for sure that I know about was Chevy brought a Bolt, but that wasn't part of the Barrett Jackson auction. It was just, what they brought to showcase, what they're doing now. I saw a Moke, M-O-K-E, little Moke, 40-mile range, electric only, little doodad. I saw that get auctioned for, I think, $18,500 that got auctioned off for. And then, of course, the Porsche 918 hybrid hypercar sold for over $1 million. So those were really the only EVs or hybrids there. If you don't count the staggering array of golf carts that were cruising the facility, with all of the people, getting people to and from cars and running runners to cars. It was absolutely insane. People were all over the place. Cars were being moved. It was a really interesting car show because there was an entire convention center full of all of the cars. But here's the thing about all of those cars. All of those cars were either for... People beeping at... Goodness. Literally nothing. Honking at nothing. All right, that's fun. There was every car that you saw was either for sale or had a sold sticker on it. And in order for a car to sell, it has to get up to the auction block. So there's this massive convention hall, and if something is all the way on the far wall, and the auction is all the way on one far wall of this huge facility, the car has to get there, and it has to get there through the throngs of drunk tourists that are walking around and looking at things. And there's a couple of different kinds of people that were at this event. So the vast majority of which were spectators, because you could get, you could pay to get in for the day. And then there were bidders. So the bidders are the people walking around with their, numbers and placards around their necks. And that's how we know who they are, because they register to bid and buy. So you have bidders and buyers walking around, and they're being a little bit more serious. I'm noticing that the bidders and buyers are being more respectful of the cars that were there. I did occasionally see a bidder getting taken on a tour through a car, having it opened up. People were getting under things. People were looking at things. People had flashlights out. That's a very different experience than a car show that I'm used to, which is strictly for spectators and for the love of the thing only. The purpose of a car show is not necessarily to sell cars. This was, very different. This was an auction. It wasn't a car show. So that was cool. But I saw a lot of really inappropriate car etiquette from tourists. And that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. There is etiquette around people's cars, whether they're for sale or not, especially when they're sold. And I saw out-of-towners doing all kinds of wacky things. I saw people reaching out and touching cars. I saw people running their hands down cars. Do you know what it takes to detail a vehicle that's getting ready to go on the auction block? What it takes to detail a vehicle anyway. But they were running their hands down cars that weren't sold yet, that didn't belong to them, and covering them in fingerprints. I saw in particular a gloss black, old school, I think it was in the 70s, early 70s, Lincoln town car. Really beautiful with the oval window in the back, just stunning. Absolutely trashed with handprints. And the oil from the fingers just stood out on the black paint under all of those fluorescent lights. And the thing's about to go on national TV. Who are you to touch it? And I just saw people putting their hands all over cars. Here's the one that freaked me out. I saw people walking up being like, "Oh, honey, did you see this one?" And putting their hand on cars that had a sold sticker on them. Ooh, no. Are you kidding me? Someone just bought that car. Someone just bought that, and I looked at it, and on the sold sticker, you can see what they paid for it. Not that it matters. If they paid $2 for it, it's still not your damn car. Don't freaking touch it. But when you see a sold sticker and it says $115K, that's a car that just sold for $115,000, and you're gonna put your greasy fingers all over it? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on. That was... Now, the vast majority of people I ran into were enthused and happy and very excited people, and it was wonderful. But I saw a much higher quotient of debaggery than I am accustomed to seeing at an event with that many cars. It was just, it was pretty outrageous. And I didn't, there was nothing for me to do, because if I were to freak out every time I saw somebody doing something that I felt that they should, and I'm not the sheriff of Barrett Jackson. I was like, who am I to be like, hey, you can't do that? I don't work there. I'm not an employee of the Mandalay Bay. I'm not an employee of Barrett Jackson. So I'm just like, oh, shut your mouth, Katherine, because this ain't your thing. Like, I'm not here to regulate on fools. That's not what I'm here to do today. I'm here to cover this event for My Vegas magazine, which I did. And I'm here to cover this event for Car Stuff with Katherine, which I did. And I'm here to have my mind blown by amazing cars, which I did. So I did all the things I was supposed to do, but deep down inside, oh, in my spirit, it was wrong. It was not correct. I was seeing so many hands on cars. There's car show etiquette, and I do see every once in a while some, and this is weird. Children usually know. So like little kids will be like, oh, and they'll pick their hands up, and they'll put their hands, like, because they just instinctively know if it's shiny, I'm probably not supposed to touch it, because they're told all the time not to touch shiny things. So like kids usually know. But oh my gosh, there's something about the archetype of 4-inch heels when you know you're going to spend a day walking around on concrete with that little waddle that says I wore the wrong footwear. And if you add on top of that jeans that have more rhinestones on them than denim, and that you paid extra money to have the holes pre-installed, and then, you know, moving up from there, the big belt with the belt buckle with all the rhinestones on it, and then moving up from there, the ever so elegantly restyled with scissors shirt, and moving on from there, the spray tan. There's something about all of, and the Louis Vuitton knockoff, you got to have that too. There's something about that archetype, and I saw it repeated over and over and over again, that just does not know to keep your hands off the car. Barrett Jackson or no Barrett Jackson, I see this archetype walking around, making it hard for women, by the way, like, who actually do know what's up and understand, don't touch things that aren't yours, which is pretty simple. I don't know why you got to reteach that at a car show. I don't know why people are like, ooh, it's pink or whatever. And like, I saw somebody at a car show once reach out and touch it, and I was like, what are you doing? This is a competition. You just put a big handprint on a car. You can't touch them. And she really looked at me and goes, but it's sparkly. I'm sorry. Are you 3? Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not fair to 3-year-olds, because I have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter that I can take to car shows, and she's never once reached out and touched a car that somebody didn't expressly say, yes, dear, you can get in this one. Like, she doesn't touch the car. 2.5, not hard. It's just, this woman looks at me and goes, but it's sparkly. What? Don't touch things that aren't yours. Do not touch people's cars. They work really hard on them. If somebody is gracious enough to see you checking out a car that's theirs, and they say, oh, this is what I would love to tell you about it. Would you like to sit in this car? Would you like to touch the car? That happens. And but go nuts. Go nuts. Somebody let me inside of that jet, and they said I could touch everything. So I touched everything because I was excited. But somebody told me I could. I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's another thing I don't get. And I feel like this is going to turn into a public service announcement, but this needs to be said. If you are not from Las Vegas, and you want to come to Las Vegas, I welcome you. You should come to Las Vegas. Hit me up. We'll have lunch. We can be besties. I'll be an ambassador of Las Vegasness. I'll be here for you. But depending on what state you're from, there's a couple of things you need to know about Nevada and about our laws here regarding alcohol. If you're from a state like Oklahoma or Utah, or one of those states that has very, very specific laws about how much booze, what the alcohol content of beer, you need to, your regular Friday night 6-pack is not going to be your regular Friday night 6-pack when you get to Las Vegas. If you're used to throwing back 5 or 6 Budweisers on a weekend, and that's your party, that's great, that's wonderful. Pay attention to the labels in Nevada, because you probably come from a place where the alcohol content is somewhere around 3.1, and in Nevada it's closer to 7. And that doesn't sound like a big difference, but think about it. That's literally double the alcohol you're used to in the beer in Nevada. There's a lot of ways that works out to the advantage of the casinos here. There's a lot of reasons that it's like that, and I don't have a problem with our high alcohol beer. In fact, I'm a fan. But when tourists come here and they don't look at the label, and they end up getting absolutely annihilated. We were just watching people get carried out left and right, and it's just, I see it every time I go to the Strip. I see tourists, and you hear the accent, and and I don't mean this in a mean way at all, but I hear the accent from someplace else, from someplace certainly more wholesome and probably right thinking than a town like Las Vegas. And all I can think is, oh, honey, you're not from around here. You don't even know what's about to happen to you. And these are people I know. I can't walk up to them and be like, look at the label on your beer, because then I sound like a crazy person. You just have to let it happen. But if you are watching this and you happen to be planning a trip to Las Vegas and you enjoy partaking in alcohol, that's wonderful. Please come to Las Vegas and partake in the alcohol. Just try to keep better track, because I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see you don't want to spend your entire time in Las Vegas hungover and puking. That's not going to be a good time. And I was watching tourists drop like flies. And then we were there on Friday and Saturday. The event was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But we were I could make it to Barrett Jackson for Friday and Saturday. And there were people that I saw on Friday that were, in the Miller Lite Beer Garden or whatever was set up. And they were just slinging them back that day, because, you walk up and down, you see the same people. That I saw the next day, and they were still clearing their passes. Some of them were bitters. And they were just, dark circles under the eyes, green around the gills, just, and they just all had this look of bewilderment, like, what happened to me? I only had the same amount of beers that I always have. Well, you had Nevada beer. And, I'm sorry, the West was not won on sissy beer. I don't know what to tell you. You came to Nevada. What are you gonna do? And it's happened to people that I know. That have come to visit and just gotten wrecked. And not on the liquor, but on the beer. And here's one other thing that you need to know. It goes without saying that Las Vegas is in the desert. We know this. And you look around, and everywhere you look, you see the desolation and death that is the Mojave Desert, but in a pretty way. With the painted mountains of red rock and yada, yada, yada. It's wonderful. It's terrible. It's everything. We live in a natural disaster. There's no water here. There's also no water in the air. And that's a thing that you don't really realize matters until you get here. Or probably until you're still nursing a headache on your 4th day back home. Alcohol dehydrates you, caffeine dehydrates you. You're probably consuming lots of both on your Las Vegas vacation. And every time you breathe in and then breathe out again, you are losing water. Okay? So, on top of all of that, the environment here is not kind to you. Just stay hydrated, get drunk, have a good time. Just drink your water and read your labels. I think that's my piece of advice there. Stop touching cars. Pay attention to how much beer you're actually drinking. If you're from a place with sissy beer, that's fine. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that your state hates freedom and that they want to make you drink 7 times as many beers to get the same amount of drunk. I don't understand the point of that, but a lot of places have really strict, weird regulations about how much alcohol content beer is allowed to have. If you're from one of those places and you come to Las Vegas, just know that the beer is stronger here. That's it. And if you're knocking back Red Bull vodka is the ultimate tourist killer, it's just maybe drink half as many as you think you want to, and then see how you feel, because you're gonna get hurt. I was literally on our way out of the Mandalay Bay yesterday. There was a group of 5 people all trying to carry one dude back to their hotel room, and I saw them walking around inside the Mandalay Bay, like they were in there drinking at Barrett Jackson, and the dude looked fine before, and then he just dropped like a fly, and he was drinking those beers and drinking those Red Bull vodkas, like I heard his friends talking about him. We were walking back to the car, and the poor fella. Like, he probably has alcohol poisoning, and that's awful. Like, there's a chance he might need to see a doctor about it. You came here to have a good time. Just help yourself have a good time and be a little bit, keep your head in the swivel and be a little bit more aware that you are not in Kansas anymore when you come to Las Vegas. This is a town designed to disorient you, bewilder you, intoxicate you, and just generally confuse you into spending as much time in a casino as possible and into spending as much money as possible once you're within that casino. Be aware of that. Be aware of the fact that all of those blinking lights on the Las Vegas Strip, they're not on because the casinos are losing money. So, like, be aware. Come, gamble, drink, have fun, enjoy. I hope you win big. I hope you take Las Vegas for all it's worth. I really do. I truly wish you the best success in the world. Take care of yourself while you're here. I don't like to see people coming to Las Vegas and having a bad time just because they didn't have some basic knowledge. I'm sure the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce would wish that I would not do this PSA. But hey, man, I like people that want to come to Las Vegas and enjoy Las Vegas. It's important. We need that. That's what our entire economy thrives on here. And I don't want anybody, getting sick or being taken such great advantage of that they don't want to come back. And so that's my little points for that today. We got a couple other things to talk about today. Keep your eyes peeled for those videos too. I'll go ahead and link to the Barrett Jackson coverage, and that's going to do it for me today, guys, as I pull into the magazine. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing right over here. Here's some other things I think you'll enjoy right down here. My name is Katherine. This is EVs of Nevada. Please remember to like, subscribe, and smile!